might have to make it with the gi. If I have to, I'll buy another gi.
Hello, everybody. Right now we got a few people on. I'm just typing a greeting. Colt, you want to come greet some people here?
Yeah.
Hang out.
I'll finish the payment
Okay.
when I get home.
All right. Hello, everyone. We have Crystal Wolf. This is Colt, by the way.
What's
Colt
up?
is a white and blue belt here at our academy. And let me just kind of greet everyone. So Crystal's here. Taylor Alexandria is here. Hello. The Meme Master. I think we should be worried about a guy named the Meme Master, or girl. We don't know. What if they make a meme out of this? Hopefully it's a good one. Maybe it goes viral. Crystal's excited for class. Crystal, I think you have been in our class before. Is that correct? Please let us know. That name looks definitely familiar. Hope this class is great. So do we. Delv King Jr., Caitlin, Explore with Penny. Show some love and smash that like button, everyone. Thank you so much for that, Penny. You are correct. Guys, I want to know where everybody is watching from today. So we decided to try this on a weekend. That way we had a little bit more of, maybe an audience. We'll see how that goes. I did a little research. Hey, Crystal Sotelo, I don't want your quick high. I want you guys back to training. I do want your quick high. I'm not going to lie. So Crystal Sotelo, who's in our chat right now, she is a part of this amazing family, the Sotelo family. And they were training for many years before the pandemic. But in my mind, they're still training because I haven't heard anything besides that. I heard they're back. We got Sierra Renee. Hello. We got Shakia. Did I say that right? Shakia. So guys, please let us know where you're joining us from. We had people in where were they at? New Zealand last time. New Zealand. Watching from Florida.
Zealand.
Adrian's in Florida, Wisconsin.
Oh, the cheeseheads.
The cheeseheads. Are you guys are Packers fans, I'm guessing, right?
Rogers.
All right. By the way, guys, let me introduce Colt. So Colt has a podcast now.
Yeah.
Has a podcast. So Colt helps people. You want to explain a little bit about what you do for people?
Yeah, for sure. I help people with chronic PTSD. I help people with veterans coming back from war. It's kind of like jiu-jitsu in the sense that there's lots of reps you have to do to get through those kind of issues, right? You can't just I want to get better and there's no magic pill, right? So it's one of those things, do the reps, and it's not about getting rid of those anxieties or thoughts or depression. It's about how can you focus on something that's meaningful and hold that stuff and do it over and over and over again. And I've seen so many people get better. So
Sweet.
I have a podcast about that right now. The Colt Gordon podcast.
The Colt Gordon podcast. Colt has a great personality. I'm hoping some of that shines through today. And I think you guys will enjoy the podcast. But let's take a quick look at where everybody's kind of tuning in from. Let's start things off with watching from Florida. Adrian, what's up? What's good in Florida? We got Wisconsin. Explore with Pennies in Wisconsin. We have Montana. Crickets in Montana. Roundup, Montana. Never heard of that. Winfield. What's JS?
JS.
Winfield JS.
JS.
Not sure.
I don't know.
They can let us know. Crystal has been in the class before. Whitesburg, Kentucky. Haley, welcome.
Winfield, Jersey.
Maybe. Flying armbar. Shaquille wants to learn a flying armbar. Well, I ain't flying up on Colt today, so that move, I don't know about. I'll show you a version of it. How about that? We'll show you a variation. Natasha is from Denmark. Caitlin, Winfield, Crystal, New York, South Africa. That's got to be the furthest from where we are, right? Charlotte's in South Africa. All right. So, guys, here's what we're going to do today. We're opening things up for you guys. Normally, when we run our live videos, we have a class going on in the background, and to be 100% honest, it's kind of splitting my attention, right? I got to go here, I got to go back there. So, we got people from Canada. That's awesome. Sorry to get sidetracked, but I keep seeing, Brooklyn. Awesome. So, guys, today it's about you guys. Colt and I, we just got back from a local park. We had a promotion ceremony for one of our brown belts, and he got his black belt today. So a guy named Brent Buzzkirk, who's actually helped us with our live videos. If you look back at our page, there's some live videos that are processed, and Brent is on those. So he got his black belt today. We did it outdoors because we wanted his family to be able to come in and attend, but obviously in an enclosed space with the pandemic, that's a no-go. So we went out there and did a pretty cool little ceremony. So it was pretty neat. Crystal said she has homework. She loves watching the videos. Can't wait to go back. We can't wait to have you back, Crystal. So guys, today I don't have any particular set of techniques. I have a few things in mind, but we definitely want questions from you guys. It could be a self-defense question. It could be a gi question for jiu-jitsu. It could be no gi. We're going to do whatever it takes. So if it's no gi, we'll have Colt take off the top. And if it's gi, I'll put on the top. And we'll make sure that we get your guys' questions answered. But one of the things that you guys have to understand too is that a lot of our videos, a lot of our subscribers are coming from our women's self-defense videos. And that's super important. In my opinion, it's one of the most pure Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu forms that we have. Women's self-defense is always taking into consideration that the person you're going against is much bigger and much stronger. Okay. Other types of jiu-jitsu that we do, like sport, sometimes you almost consider that that person's at your level, at your size or whatever. Like Colt, for example, is going to compete, and we're just talking about what weight class he's going to be in. So we're imagining that he's going to be going against somebody with equal attributes. But in the women's class, you almost have to always assume that the attacker is bigger, stronger, meaner. Okay, so it's very pure jiu-jitsu. So the thing about it, though, is that if you guys see a video like this one where there's not a woman in the video, that doesn't mean that you're not going to learn you're still going to learn the techniques. And sport jiu-jitsu also has a huge benefit to your real self-defense stuff as well. Yeah. Because the intensity of a sport training session, it's as close as you get to a real fight without actually really fighting. So, you know, we do a lot of sport training, and you guys might see that sometimes and go, oh, this isn't the subject that I'm here for. But I guarantee you guys that within what you're looking at, there are pieces that will apply to, you know, what you're here for. So hopefully that makes sense. And now we're going to start things off. So the first thing that I noticed was that somebody mentioned a flying armbar. Okay, flying armbar. I'm going to show you guys a move that's not a flying armbar, but it's similar to a flying armbar. Okay, flying armbar is like an armbar that you jump into. Okay, so what I want to show you guys is a move that we do from the knees. Okay, it's just a kind of a fun warm-up technique, right? So Colt and I are going to start off on our knees like this. Okay, so normally when we start our jiu-jitsu classes, for safety reasons, we don't start from the standing every time, because you could take somebody down and fall on someone. We don't have a ton of room. Now, if they're going to compete, we will go to the standing. But because most of the time we start from the knees, I want to show you guys how we can go directly to an armbar from the knees. Okay, so I'm usually going to start off by connecting to Colt's collar, and in this case, he can kind of hold my shirt or my collar, my shoulder, whatever. So normally we start off kind of tussling here a little bit, okay? And what I want to do is I want to catch this straightened out arm, and I want to get that arm in what we call an arm lock, okay? So from here, I'm going to step up on the side that I have the collar. He's going to control my elbow, kind of pinch. So I'm going to go here, boom, like this. So all this looks like I want to do is it looks like I want to pull guard. So if I do it quickly, it's going to be 1, 2, and boom, right into my guard. Okay, but it's supposed to look like that so that he thinks, oh, great, I'm getting on top. And then what I'm going to do is as soon as I sit, I'm going to change my angle and fall directly to the finish, which is the submission. So we're here like this. He's got his hand on my shoulder. Again, most academies start this way. Watch my right foot. If this is the hand that I'm using on the collar, that's the first leg that goes up. So I go here. Boom. Now this leg is going to swing, underneath like a windshield wiper. Here. Now I'm going to keep pulling Colt the way he was going to go, but I'm going to change my angle. Boom. And step over. Now, notice how my leg passed over his head and kind of bit down on his neck a little bit here, and then I grab the wrist. Let's back up a little, Colt. So we'll kind of do it a little. Let me change the angle for you guys a bit. So this is a direct pull to the arm lock from the knees. So we're here, right? Maybe you begin training in your academy, you're here. You're going to step up, you're going to swing under, and you're going to fall and lock. Okay? Now from here, his arm is completely straight in the center of my body. I'm going to use 2 hands to grab his wrist. And I'm going to start to elevate my hips and see if I can get him to tap from right here. Okay? A lot of people make a mistake here by crossing their feet. You guys notice how much pressure I took off of Colt's neck by just taking my feet and crossing them? So don't cross them. Keep 2 separate bites and kind of bite down here. Okay? Sorry about that. You're fine. Okay? Let's do it again. You know, guys, I'm going to throw on my gi top real quick because this is like a gi kind of academy technique. I'll be right back.
I saw the question about the gun pull.
Gun, yes.
And then also about what do you do when you can't talk. I think that was also from
Yeah, we're going to show one of those too.
Crystal. Is that from Crystal?
We got a lot. Hopefully we have a lot of questions to answer because I enjoy doing it. So.
And yes, hello, Cricket. I saw that you said hello to me.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go back over that technique. So this is a quick arm lock. What does an arm lock do? An arm lock for the beginners out there is meant to hyperextend somebody's elbow, right? Your arm is only supposed to go just about 180. There are some double jointed people that go a little bit further, but it's not supposed to go a whole lot more than that. Okay, so the idea is to use your entire body. That's where leverage comes from, right? A lot of people who do jiu-jitsu are smaller individuals, and they're trying to learn what to do against a bigger, stronger person. Now, if it's my arm versus a smaller person's arm, then my arm's stronger. But if you wrap your entire body the way I was doing to Cole a second ago around one arm, you could be far stronger arm versus arm, but you're not going to be stronger than their entire body, okay? So that's kind of where the leverage comes from. We take more of our body and we attack usually one limb. Could be a leg, could be a shoulder, could be an elbow, could be an arm, whatever, okay? So let's kind of play here a little more. So back up a little this way, Cole. So again, most jiu-jitsu academies, you start off and you kind of like shake and bump, or you slap and bump, and then you connect, okay? If 2 people do not want to sit down and they want to tussle, this move we just did is pretty awesome, okay? You can sit a little bit right here. So like, I'm going to step up, 1, spin, 2, fall to the side, legs come up, bite, and catch. A lot of times with this one, you'll get some momentum going here, and you might even tip the person over right here. And if that happens, turn a little close. Yeah. If that happens, you can end up in this type of armbar. Okay? So it's kind of a cool way to start off your training. A lot of times, if you're able to pull that one off on somebody, you kind of look at the other person and smile and go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I caught in the first 5 seconds of the round. But it's a cool little trick. And it's kind of a jump straight to it, which is similar to the first question we had, which was a flying armbar question. But I'm about 230 pounds, so I'm not trying to jump my weight on somebody right this second right now. Okay. What other questions do we have? Colt, you mind taking a quick look here? Let's kind of scroll back up.
So I think Crystal Wolf asked, can we get help if we can't speak when we are being attacked? Okay,
one move comes to mind. Let's start with that one. So the one move that comes to mind where you can't speak, there's actually 2. These are both on our women's self-defense program. And one of the things I've been noticing is comments in regards to the fact that it's a women's self-defense program. We got a lot of guys that are saying, hey, so I guess I can't use these moves, right? That's a rough one. It's a rough one. I want to say no just to be funny, because everybody knows that, yes, of course, anybody who needs these techniques can use these techniques, right? But the reason we call it women's self-defense is because we've bundled up these techniques. We put them in a group of moves that we call the Women's Self-Defense Program here at our academy. Okay, and we find those to be the highest leverage techniques for small versus big. Okay, so that's why we call it that. But of course, guys, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. Now, when you can't talk, we're gonna try to be sanitary today, because the one thing that comes to mind when you can't talk is somebody taking their hand and doing what? Covering your mouth. Okay, and I don't want Colt's hand on my mouth the whole next 10 minutes. But we're gonna do it once to show you, and then we're gonna talk about, you know, what it would be like if it was, say, on the neck. So Colt's gonna mount me here. And a lot of times from here, this is super dangerous because his weight is holding me down, okay? If he was in between my legs, a lot less weight is holding me down. But right now he's holding me down. What could he do? He could put his hands on my throat. He could put one hand over the mouth. He could grab my wrists and pin them to the ground, right? He could punch me in my face with two hands, yeah? All of that stuff becomes available from this position, okay? Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pretend that the hand is covering the mouth like this, okay? So if the hand's covering the mouth and he's leaning forward, go ahead and cover it. What I'm gonna do is take advantage and hold that arm. So if we turn a little bit, you'll see my right hand is gonna grab right over his watch. So he's using his right hand to cover the mouth. I'm using my right hand to cover the watch, okay? The next thing is my other hand's gonna reach up and control his elbow. And the key is to close my elbows, keeping everything really close to my chest, okay? So most people expect the opposite. Let's say, for example, that instead of covering the mouth, Colt had his hand on my neck, like this, okay? What do you think the person on bottom normally is gonna do here? They're pushing, right? Can you connect? Yeah. Yeah, he's here, everybody's doing this, they're trying to hit, they're hitting the groin, they're trying to push, they're trying to break away. All of those are common reactions from this position. But the best reaction is to actually pull it into you even more. So when he starts to go for that neck or that whatever it is, I'm actually gonna continue to hold his hand where it already is. He expects something, but he doesn't expect that. Okay, so 1, 2, like this. Now I'm gonna take my foot on the same side of the arm, and I'm gonna step my foot over Colt's foot like this. So my foot's gonna go right over, boom. Now, when I trap his toes like this here, it makes it hard for him to take his foot and post it. So I wanna keep this nice and trapped. So essentially I've trapped his right arm and his right leg with my arms and my leg. One more time. So we're here, he goes for the neck. I'm here, I'm pushing a little bit. Maybe I'm realizing this is not the right idea. So 1, 2, like this. Now I'm gonna bring my foot outside his foot and I've trapped. Now this foot has to go in the middle. What do I mean? This foot's gonna go right here in the center. If I trap the other foot outside, or you put your hook in, and I try to bump Colt, I might not get him to bump over because he's got a connection here, right? Like keep hooking that grapevine, and I'm gonna look for a bump. You see how he keeps himself there? So this foot over here is a problem because I can't go over, I have to go inside like this. Now once I've done that, he can't connect himself to me in any way. And now what I do is I bridge my hips and I roll them over. Boom, just like that. Okay, so again, so from here, this is a good one when they're covering your mouth. Okay, super important. Here, let me get a little further so we can roll to you guys. Okay, boom, so he's here. I'm trying to get out, I'm pushing, he grabs my neck, or if he covers the mouth, you can cover the mouth. 1, here, 2, here, 3, here, okay? Now, bridge. He cannot post his right hand. And then I step over. Now from here, turn a little bit this way, Colt. We recently did a video on this, so if you guys forget, you can go back to the video. But check this out. From this position, a lot of people stand up and they have a wide base for the person on top now. So if I stand up like this and I pop up, my balance is not that great. If Colt grabs my wrists and pulls me into him, I'm gonna fall back to him. Yeah. So what I want is I want to stand up with a perpendicular base. So I'm gonna pop up here. Now he tries to pull me, it's harder, but he might still have my wrists, okay? So if that happens, this is a good opportunity for a groin strike, right? I could use a knee, boom. I could kick, boom, and then use that to get away from the situation, right? There's definitely a time and a place forward groin strike in self-defense, especially the women's self-defense, and that would be one of those opportunities where I'd say go for it, okay? So when they trap your mouth, cover 1, cover 2, step over the foot, and then a high bridge. Give you one last look at the bridge before we move to the next question, guys. So here, well, here, no, you're good, Cole. I'm gonna do solo. So 1, 2, 3, and now this foot in the middle. Now I bridge my hips up, and I turn to my knees, like this. Okay, then perpendicular base. Okay, so this is a common technique that we do. It's called the Uppa, or the trap and roll technique. All right, so guys, real quick before we move on to the next question, I would appreciate if you guys are getting something from this class so far, if you guys could leave us a like and a positive comment, that would be fantastic. And if you've already done that and you've already liked it, then check out our videos later and leave those a like, right? Those things help the videos kind of get pushed further, and everybody can be a part of the solution, which is what I'm looking for. I want everybody to help. Everybody shares. All right, so let's move forward here. Let's see what else we got. Triangle choke, please. 3 words. Triangle choke, please. Thank you, Eve. Eve said she loves the channel. My mother was in karate, so you want to follow her footsteps. Well, I think nowadays, could get in trouble by saying this, but jiu-jitsu is the new karate. I think a lot of people are hearing about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and how effective it is. And back in those days, and when my parents were, taking karate, that was the hot art. You had Chuck Norris, you had Bruce Lee, you had a lot of striking people to kind of look at, and they did. So yeah, I think this is kind of the new karate. So let's look into the triangle. What is the triangle? The triangle choke. I look forward to choking Colt with this one. Look at that.
Come on, man.
I know. All right, guys. So from here, again, women's sexual assault would definitely take place in a position like this, right? Could. We're going to show you, though, something that you can do to use your legs to choke the person who's inside your guard, okay? So Cole, have a seat a little if you can. All right. So what I want to look for is something called triangle setup position, triangle setup. So I'm going to look to push one wrist in and have one out. And right now I'm just going to bring my legs up like this and cross them. So if we can turn a little, Colt. You see I have Colt inside my legs here, okay? This is called triangle setup position. Now, most people who are unaware, they don't see the urgency here. But if somebody does jiu-jitsu, they realize really quickly that this right here, this is bad. So we want to pop out of these positions if we ever have an opportunity. But the attacker who doesn't know jiu-jitsu is not going to realize that this is a dangerous spot, okay? So once we get to triangle setup, which we'll show you many ways of getting to very soon, you're going to take 2 hands and grab the arm and cross it. 2 hands control the head and pull it. Now I'm going to step on the hip of whatever arm is inside. So right now I'm going to step on Colt's right hip because his right arm is inside my legs. So what I do is I hold and I start to stretch a little bit and I step on his hip, boom, like this. Now this leg is going to bite across his shoulder line. So I'm actually trying to fold my leg down. If I drew a line between his 2 shoulders, that's the line I want my leg to land on. So I'm going to go here, boom, like this. Now I'm going to reach up and grab my shin, leaving myself a place to put my other leg. So if you grab your toes and you try to put this leg on top, you won't have any room. If you grab here and leave a landing space, now you can go here. Okay, you okay, Colt? Mm-hmm. It's not a fun position to be in while I explain deep thoughts on this, right? So 1 here and 2 here, boom. And now I squeeze, right? Here. Now, why is this working? It's pretty nasty. First of all, Colt, what do you feel when I squeeze you? Because a lot of people think choke means cough.
Yeah, I feel like my blood is leaving my head and I'm starting to pass out. I also feel the blood capillaries in my face starting to go.
Yeah, they start to feel like your eyeballs are going to like pop out like Who Framed Roger Rabbit type stuff, right? So the neck is, we have the carotid arteries running along the sides here, and this technique is meant to cut the blood flow to the brain. A lot of times you think choke, you think the middle. It's not the middle, it's the sides. You might even hear people say like blood choke. I don't even know what that, I guess that's what that means, is blood choke is on the sides, yeah. So the idea, let's do it once again, guys. We're in triangle setup, okay? He's kind of going to be in the normal position. We can get here many different ways. Step one, cross his arm with how many hands? 2 hands, right? So I'm going to go here, boom. Now control his head with how many hands? 2 hands, grab his head. Now I can uncross my feet without the fear of him leaving. Because if I'm here and I don't grab his head and I go like this, he's gone, right? So I got to make sure that I hold, boom, like this. Now I step on the hip and I keep him here while I rotate and bite my leg across the shoulder line. Now I grab my shin, never leaving his posture for him to have it back. And then I pull and lock. And then from here I squeeze. Okay? So if you really want extra pressure, you can take your hands and grab the person's head. And as you squeeze your hips up, you pull his head down. But it's not necessary right now because he's going to tap before that anyways. Okay, one last time, make it an even 3. It's not really even, but it's like a jiu-jitsu 3. Turn this way. In jiu-jitsu, we always do 3, at least. So here, what's this called, guys? You guys remember? Who's the first one in the chat? Who's going to get it? Let me move the chat down so I can see. Let's see if you guys can answer these questions. Boom. See who's paying attention. People want to ask about the bow and arrow choke. Yes, we can definitely work on that. But right now, help me out. The chat is live. We're watching it scroll. Name this position right here. What's this one called?
Hello.
Who remembers? Who remembers? Nobody? All right, this one is called triangle setup position. How many hands am I going to use to cross Colt's arm? Who's got that one? 1, right? Wrong. It's going to be a 2-handed cross. How many hands do I control his head with? 2. Now, what do I bite across? What's the name of that line? The shoulder line. So I step, I bite, and I grab. Now I lock things up. I pull down and hip forward for the finish. Okay? So that's the triangle choke.
Katie got it.
And Katie got it. Katie said 2. That's correct, Katie. So yeah, that's a super good technique. Triangle is like a staple of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The triangle choke is like the thing that makes, if you were to do like a logo with like a move, it should be a triangle. Because you don't see that too much in other martial arts. You see it in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Okay? Okay, guys, let's see. What other questions? Oh, we had the bow and arrow question. So bow and arrow question has to come from somebody who looks like Shakia asked about the bow and arrow. I'm guessing you already trained, because the bow and arrow is not a thing that you're going to hear somebody ask about who hasn't trained jiu-jitsu before. Okay? So let's kind of give a look real quick here to the bow and arrow. So most of the time it can happen from mount or modified mount, or it can happen from here. Okay? The bow and arrow also makes for a great photo. Yeah, if you're going to take a picture of this class, take it after I get Colt in the bow and arrow. So traditionally, you want to start off back control. Edgy waggy, eggy waggy. Typical class today. No, it's not. Just pull up a chair and enjoy. So whenever I get somebody's back, these are called hooks. Hooks are meant to stop my partner from moving, right? So if I have no hooks, he has too much freedom, he can go. But if I have my hooks like this, if I remove this one, he's allowed, or he can go that way. But he cannot go the other way. My hips are going to lock his hips right here, okay? So double hooks are great. That's what you want, double hooks. Now, what about upper body control? Upper body control, we do something called what, Colt?
I don't know.
Over?
Over under.
Over under. It came back to him.
Yeah.
Over under. See, he's just being my partner today, but I'm going to put him on the spot a few times so he has to pay attention. So over and under, boom. Why is over under effective? Because whenever I get on somebody's back, I want to attack them, but I want to control them. And if I go double under, it's fantastic for control, but it sucks for attack. Because right now I can't attack your neck, can't really attack your arms, not that good. Double overs is kind of terrible because there's no control of your body. Overall, I just feel very loose here. And yeah, technically, I guess you could say I could grab your collar, I could go for chokes, but I don't have any control. So we find a happy medium over the shoulder, under the armpit, very similar to what in your car. Click, seat belt. Seatbelt control. Seatbelts hold your body down the center, like right from here, boom. And what's going to happen is if anything crazy happens in the car, God forbid, you are going to be held nicely, okay? So that's why we do the same thing, seatbelt control. Now from here, the primary option for most jiu-jitsu players is the choke. So what I'm looking for normally is to kind of wrap Colt's neck a little bit here and then get my bicep here and get a nice little squeeze. Yeah, good face on that one. So that's the idea most of the time, but it's hard to get that deep hook on a person who's trained for a little while. So the bow and arrow is a great option because the bow and arrow only requires my top hand to sneak in about that far. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm flipping the gi. I'm feeding my thumb into my partner's collar like this, where he's kind of resting his chin on my shelf. The shelf is my watch. Okay, so boom, like this. Now I have to reach and grab his leg on the opposite side. A lot of people wouldn't even understand that yet. They're going, wait a minute, leg, what does that have to do with the choke? It has to do with just not letting it be unraveled, which we'll get to. So look, grip number one, boom, with my overhand. Grip number two, pant grip. Now I'm going to spread this leg out and let him fall. So watch my right foot. I'm going to open the hook. I'm going to pull him down. And we're going to be in this position. We're going to turn so we can show you guys. I'm going to be here. Okay? Now this is a problem. This is a big problem. So from this position now, if I lock my feet and I start to pull him, it kind of pulls him as if he was a bow and arrow. So the idea is that you're holding a bow, right? And you pull a string, and what happens to the outsides of the top or bottom of the bow? It bows, right? It turns. So what's happening here is I'm pushing Colt's middle, but I'm pulling these two grips. So it's creating that bow effect, and it's making for a really nasty choke. Okay, let's do it one more time. So he's going to sit up here. So we're starting from what position, guys? The back control. Turn this way. The back control, what do we call these things? You guys remember? So we have to have our what in. Both what? I'm going to give you guys like 10 seconds. I hope our internet connection is quick. Those are called the... I'm guessing we're going to get a right answer, though. I have a good feeling.
Just guess.
These are going to be called the 100s. No, close.
That's close.
But these are going to be called the hooks. Okay, so hooks. Now we have what kind of control? Seat belt control, which is also called over-under. Okay? Now the overhand is the only one that can effectively choke a person. If I go with the underhand right now and grab his collar, he doesn't feel that on his neck. Okay, so this hand goes here, boom. Now I grab his pant, I pull out my leg and allow him to fall here. And now I start to kind of gather my legs, maybe even lock them. And then from this position, I start to stretch and pull, and that's going to eventually create a choke. Now, if I don't have this leg and he was doing some kind of last-ditch craziness, he might turn. And then he unravels the choke. Bad news for me. So I got to make sure that I keep him in that position. So guys, we're going to do it once more, but keep in mind, this will be posted later, and you guys can always go back and look at it, okay? So over, under, here, seatbelt control. Top hand, thumb in the collar, boom. Bottom hand grabs what? Partner's nose. No, just kidding. Pant, okay? Now open the leg, pull him down, close the legs, okay? Now stretch. My hips are behind him. This is pretty bad. I'm trying to be nice to Colt. Okay, that'll be the tap. So very, very powerful choke technique, guys. All right, let's see what we have at the bottom. I see a large question.
What amazing.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate some of the positive energy. That's awesome. Okay, newbie question. As a beginner, I can see training twice a week is good. However, as one progresses, what would be a good number of days to train per week to get the most out of training and not burn out? I have a good answer for that. Okay? Now, let's say you only have twice a week. And let's limit you to twice a week. Twice a week is all you have. There's no, whatever reason you have in your life, you can't do it more than that. Okay? I have students who come in 4 to 5 days a week right now. And you would think that by them coming in 4 or 5 days, that they're just going to plain straight up end up better than you are because you can only make it twice, right? But here's the big difference, guys. With jiu-jitsu, I have people that can only make it twice a week or 3 days a week, and they are laser focused when they're here because they know that they only get 2 days and they love this stuff. And they're like, man, I want to be there every day, but I can't be there every day. So when I do go there, I got to really focus on everything because I want to gather all the information. Whereas I have other students who show up more than that. And what ends up happening is because they're here, they just look at it like, I just got to show up and I'll get better. And that's not necessarily true. So I think I've seen people over the years who are twice a week students or 3 days a week students, and those people actually improve as quickly as the 4-dayers or the 5-dayers who are doing it more to just kind of step in the door and keep telling themselves that showing up is the key. Showing up is the key. It's not. It's effort. It's what do you put into this? Because what you put into it is what you get out of it. And the other thing too is that there's a lot of online resources. Like right now, does this count as a day of class? Interesting question, right? If you're at home and you can't train jiu-jitsu today and you wish you could, and you're stuck babysitting or you're stuck doing whatever it is, if this is on, it almost counts as a training scenario. You can literally ask a question to somebody with 20 years experience, and I'll be happy to help you, and myself and Colt, of course. So that's the idea, guys. It's not about how many days you put in, it's how focused you are on those days that you are in. You can show up to work every single day, and then there could be a part-time employee that's making you look bad because they show up and they put in that extra work. They do everything they can that day. They get that promotion before you get it. It would suck, but hey, you know what you're doing and what you're not doing. Okay, I hope that answers you guys' question. All right, let's see. What can I do if I'm weak and the guy is strong that I can't move? It's a general question, but not specific, so it's hard to answer. Like, what do you mean you want to move him? What do you mean you want to move him? Because I can tell you right now, the move we showed earlier is definitely a move that would move most people. Lifting your hips up when someone's sitting on them, they're going for a ride. They're going for a ride.
It's kind of like Katie's question too. It's kind of similar. Katie Nielsen.
She had another one as well.
This Katie right here.
Oh, okay. Why? Okay. What do I do when I'm weaker and the man is very strong? Okay, so that goes back to the beginning of the lesson today. We talked about using more of your body versus whatever it is you're needing. So, for example, Colt. Let's say that Colt is weaker than me. Okay. If Colt's weaker than me and it's an arm wrestling competition, okay, ready, set, go. We're going. I'm starting to win. I'm making it look easy. Colt's going as hard as he can. How can Colt win this arm wrestling competition? Of course, under the rules of arm wrestling, it's supposed to be 1 against 1. But it would be a very easy win if Colt took 2 and kind of did some different tricks. Pushed the bottom or doubled up on the top. Basically, he's using more of his body versus less of my body. Well, then you might say, oh, but wait a second. If your goal, Colt, is to put my hand on the floor over there, and my goal is to put your hand on the floor over here, let me have it a little bit back, then that's still the goal, right? And then he doubles up. And then the average person is going to say, well, what if you double up? Right? Here. Now, the only thing I could think of is Colt better get his legs involved. You know what I mean? So the key to jiu-jitsu is using your entire body versus one limb. For example, if we did that same arm wrestling competition here, and you couldn't win 1-on-1, so you went 2-on-1, but then I went 2-on-2, right? Now all of a sudden, I want Colt to fall this way, wrap his legs into an armbar position, and completely dominate this arm. Boom! And now from here, as he starts moving his whole body, I can't put his hand over there, even if I tried. So the idea is that look how much of his body he got involved with manipulating my arm, right? That was a tricky little white belt move right there that he did. He wasn't ready for that. But the point is, the more I use versus this arm, use 2 arms. Go back to your knees. Arm wrestling 1-on-1. Who wins? Stronger, right? Look at, he's using 2. So what am I going to do? I'm going to lock in. I'm going to bring him over here. Boom. And I'm going to make sure that I win using my entire body. So guys, the only way is to use leverage and your entire body versus these, you know, the one-on-ones. The one-on-ones, stronger will always win. The technique, the leverage, the timing of a smaller person, though, could win when used correctly. Okay, let's see here. It's such a general question. I feel like it was a general answer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, if you all could be specific on the position, that might help.
Yeah,
But,
like where they overpower you. You know what I mean? Because that's really what jiu-jitsu is, like situational stuff. Like where are you at right this second? What move is it that you're worried about? And then we can show you the highest leverage in that move. That was an example that turned into something crazy right now, but
I like to answer though because it's you're explaining that some people get tunnel vision, even the tackle will get tunnel vision, but if you bring your whole body into it,
that's the goal, right?
Yeah,
the whole body. You know, if Colt was gonna go for like, I'll give you an example. In what world could, like, you know, I'm looking at the comments, sorry guys, in an abusive situation. Yeah, but still, abusive situation could be a million things. And we're totally understanding your point, because for you to have a specific question, you'd almost have to already know about the art a little bit, right? But what I want you to think about, Katie, is I want you to think, like, for example, what scenario scares me the most? That's probably a good place to start. You know, if you say what scares me the most is a man on top of me, putting his hands on my throat, pinning me, right? We did that earlier. Or you might say a man in between the legs who's trying to, you know, punch me in my face. Something like that would be very specific, you know? So that would be something that we could give you a defined answer to, rather than a principle or concept. You know what I mean?
she means petite.
Petite girl could get out of it.
Still pretty general.
Still general, yeah. We still need that, like, specificness, I guess you could say. Let me kind of look up a little bit here.
Could be from behind, could be on top, between your legs.
Close guard. Somebody asked about close guard. Shakia asked about close guard. You still with us, Shakia?
Shakia was actually making an answer to one of your questions, like, what position is that?
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thanks, Shakia. What do you do if they're really weak and the guy's strong? See, kind of general.
Yeah.
You have more control when you're on top. I'm actually thinking of taking self-defense. Yeah, I learned about bow and arrow choke. Good. Okay, guys, we have a few more minutes. If anybody has any other questions that they can be nice and specific about. If you guys are specific, we definitely can help you answer. Another weird thing to ask, but I know it's like 15 of us online. It's not that lot. People have been asking me in the comments or in my my messages about our gear. I know that sounds kind of weird, but we have DM Jiu-Jitsu t-shirts. We have uniforms. As you can see, Colt's wearing the uniform right now. So obviously our logo and our brand is starting to be associated with women's self-defense and self-defense in general. And I was curious if anybody be interested in us trying to create an online store or something to have you guys be able to rock the gear. It's pretty unique stuff. Let's see. What days do you have class? We have classes. Well, let's just start off by saying that this broadcast is from 2019. Is that a good way to say it? Hashtag 2019. And in 2019, we have classes 6 days a week, you know? So 6 days a week.
When do these live classes in 2019 come up?
The 2019 live classes. Here's the thing. We were doing, I'm sure, Katie, I think you might have even come into one of our classes on a Monday, Wednesday women's class. Did any of you guys see that? I know Edgy Waggy was there. That's our boy. He's always checking us out. So he's in that class. He was in that class a few times, but you know, that class, to be honest with you guys, it didn't perform that well. There not many people joined in, and I thought maybe it was at a bad time for people, which was like 6:30 p.m. So we're located in the city of Lakewood, California. I shouldn't have said that online. Not just kidding. It's 2019. Who cares?
We're in the Twilight Zone.
Okay. Some people are saying online merch would be awesome. Yeah, I think it would be. Like if I'm rocking the shirts in our videos, along with Griselda or Colt or whatever, and you guys can also get them. And then people be like, "What's that?" And just say, "You don't have to know about that. It's some secret stuff." Secret stuff.
You don't have to know about that.
You don't need to know about that. All right. Any other questions, guys? We'll kind of wrap it up. I think if anyone has any other questions. Crazy Games Gaming Channel. I need to know what to do if the guy comes from behind. Okay, let's talk about it.
Behind on the knees or stand up?
I think on the stand up. You mean on the stand up? Okay. LOL, it's 2020. Yeah, but this is a pre-recorded broadcast. But we were very good guessers as to what you guys were going to ask.
Yeah, I don't know how we.
Yeah. Online classes, Christine, that is the plan. We are starting to, sorry, Katie, it's 2019. Let's stick with that, okay? Yeah, we're definitely going to start providing online Zoom classes so we can actually see you guys, meet you guys, and then correct your mistakes too. All you need is somebody at home that you can work with. But let's talk really quick about the kind of this position here. I'm going to ask Colt to kind of do what I'm doing to him in a moment. But this one requires a little bit of trust and a little bit of patience because it's going to be kind of a longer answer. There's two things that mainly happen. As the attacker, most of the time, I'm much bigger than this person. Right now, Colt and I think we're the same height. Or you said we're about the same height?
6'1".
All right. So if we're the same height, it's a little harder for me to grab his neck effectively, right? Like, Colt, just stand, tuck your chin a couple degrees. That doesn't really reach the way I want it to reach. Turn this way. So right off the bat, it's a little bit disruptive, but it's kind of, we can still get it done. So when I pull Colt, how do I have balance while I pull him? Because most bad guys want to grab you and pull you, okay? And there's a little bit of trust going on right here, right? Turn a little, Colt. Look at his angle when I pull him. He's completely leaning on me, but I have to be a stable surface. So if you guys are going to practice this at home, don't have your feet all messed up and you pull somebody and you're surprised when you start to fall and you lose them and so on. Right? You ever seen trust fall in movies? Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it, but you get the idea. So I'm going to trust fall a bit on Colt. So from here, as he grabs me a little bit on the top, okay, the first thing I want to do is avoid his elbow. So if I feel like Colt's elbow is here, I don't want it to go here. Yeah, bad. Yes, really bad. So the first thing I want to do, luckily for most people, you're not going to get that perfect wrap on your first go from the back. So as I'm here, I'm on my phone or whatever is happening. As soon as I feel this happen, I drop my phone. And then boom, I grab this right here, okay? Now, it has a lot to do with practice. You guys have to practice. But for starters, I do a pull-up on this, which buys me time, okay? Now, most bad guys, freeze for a second. Most bad guys are gonna, stay right there, do the wrap to the invisible partner. Boom. Most bad guys are gonna hold their hands like this. Right, so they go wrap, and they gable grip is what we call that. So he grabs like this because his intention is going to be what? Boom, boom, start pulling me away. Okay, so watch this. From here, as he comes around, he grabs. Now when he grabs like that, go ahead and grab. You got it? Yes. As he starts, no, not rear naked choke. Grab the way we talked about. That's actually more effective for a street fight. So as Colt starts to pull back a little bit, I have to realize that it's coming from here, and I need to step through like this. Now, a drill that you can practice that will be more than worth your time. Go to your knees, Colt. Close your eyes. Whatever side my hand wraps you from, I simply want you to tap me on that arm when you feel it, okay? So. Okay, but let it get there, Colt. Jeez, he's showing off. Close your eyes tight, though. All right. Okay. How does he get it right every single time? A lot of people say, wait a second, how are you ever going to know which arm it is? Look at that drill. He's never done this drill before in his life, but he could tell right off the bat by feeling what was coming. He knows it's coming from here, or he knows it's coming from there. When you know which way it is, all you have to know next is which way to step. So let's do it again. So he's behind me, an invisible partner. I'm going to be here. If Colt's right arm was the one grabbing, I need to take my right side and I need to slip it. So I need to slip it through like this to where I have this ear kind of on his chest. And then I'm going to give him a powerful push and try to get away or take him down, whatever. So the point is this, as I'm here, I'm on my phone, he comes up, all of a sudden I feel this person grab me, I go here. What if you can't get your hands inside? Tuck your chin the best you can and pull down the best you can. It may not be perfect, but try. Now, I'm gonna realize this is the danger side. This side of my body, my right arm, my leg needs to slip between us. So as he starts to back away and pull me back a little, that happens. Now I give him a boom, a push. You feel it?
Yeah.
So it's very slippy, like you kind of slip between, but because of the way he's pulling me, he's not leaving any space up here, but the space starts down here. So as Colt pulls, he has to step and pull. And when he steps, that little space exists and that slip can take place, okay? So yeah, it's a pretty cool move. So one more time, we're here. We'll kind of see if we can angle it for you guys. So as he starts to come around, first thing is I start to, disrupt. Any non-perfect wrap has gaps. So I go here, boom, right away. Now, even if he connects his hands, it doesn't matter. Like, no, meaning connect your palms. Yeah, this is a very common scenario with self-defense chokes, right? Now, as he starts to back away, I might move a little with him, and then boom. And then from here, I might have to dip my head out and move, but I know the fight is on at that point. So it's a super effective way of slipping. Old school jiu-jitsu, they actually used to go the other way. They used to go from here to here and then grab the person and lift them and throw them. The only problem is that's possibly a bulldog choke is what they call it. So when somebody gets me on that side, if they grab my head and wrench it, they got me in a nasty position. So over the years, I started thinking like, hey, if we're going to slip one way or the other, one way is very safe, one way is chancy. I don't like that. Hopefully that answered you guys' question.
That was a good one.
That's a big one. Super useful. So the invisible partner will be here, chin tucked, hands in. Choke came from this side, so I'm going to go. Boom. And you got to practice being stable once you land on both feet at that point. What if they have a knife? Show me what to do, please. Tough one. What's the attack, right? What's the attack? But I can tell you, if a person has a knife, they have more than just a little bit of an advantage on you. That's a huge advantage. I would be a bad instructor if I didn't say that if you saw a clean exit and you take it, that would be a fail.
That's when you run.
Yeah, run. But if it is a knife in his right hand, stand over here, the chances are very slim that you're going to be able to disarm this person without probably training your entire life, and they have to be almost a novice. Okay? Now, things like that, he starts going for the stomach, say. Boom. Okay, go back again. So he has the knife in his hand, my hands are here. I'm trying to stay away. The best thing is to stay away. But once that starts to go, I can go here, I can grab like this and rotate, and I can start to pull him down a little bit here. Look at how I have his hand. It's stuck behind, and now I can knee the face, boom, make him drop the knife. I can grab here, I can turn him. I've seen other instances where people who go with the knife, the person kind of stops them here like this and starts to put pressure on their arm. And then they lock it in here, you see? And now from here, you can lock this and maintain the grip on the knife to keep it away from the person. Because a lot of people are sneaky, they switch hands. This place, you can't really switch the hand, and it feels very arm-bar-y. You feel the arm bar?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So you can, again, here, stomach, I can kind of move out of the way here like this. I can put pressure here, lock it in, and that will help me to kind of maintain control. But if I'm being realistic with you guys, you're better off trying to create distance, talk, and get out of there. If it's a wall behind you and there's nowhere you can go, that's the only time I recommend even trying those things. Don't play with, they say don't come to a, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Don't bring no knife to a knife fight.
What if they have a gun? That's what they asked.
Yeah, if they have a gun, you can imagine it would be worse than the knife. There's no way to catch a bullet, and that's the truth. Question solve or problem solve on that one. Someone trying to attack you in a corner. Distance management. We'll leave it at that. Distance management, because if someone has me in a corner, there's a corner behind me, I have to be proficient in self-defense, number one. I can't show you one move because you haven't told me one attack. But I can tell you that distance management is huge. If a person is going to attack me and they're too far away, back up. No possibility of attack from here. We're more than 2 arms distance, no attacks. I'm good. Let's takes his shoe off and throws it at me. It's not happening, right? If he's in this distance, many attacks. And if he's in this distance, it's probably also good for me, okay? If I know jiu-jitsu, of course. So too far is good. Really close is good. The middle is good for the attacker, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. All right, guys. So, all right, I think that's a good amount for today. Does anybody have anything else they want to add in before we end? Again, I want you guys to, if you guys would like to check out our Jiu-Jitsu buddy Colt's podcast. What is the name of the podcast again?
Colt Gordon Podcast.
And where can they find it at?
All of the apps for podcasts. Spotify.
Spotify.
Apple.
So Colt Gordon Podcast on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Colt's actually getting ready to compete in his first jiu-jitsu tournament pretty soon, which they're starting to get back to doing. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure you might even talk about that at some point on the podcast, I'm guessing.
Yes.
But that's a pretty cool experience. It could be an intense experience, but it's pretty awesome. So, all right. Okay, everybody. Well, we hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the weekend. Colt, anything you'd like to add in?
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
That was fun.
And what does that say?
Crazy Games is bringing all the questions.
Crazy Games is just coming up with some stuff. What if they break through my window?
Break through my window.
Oh, break through my window.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one, right? They break through my window. Well, let us know next time how they broke through your window. All right, guys. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Next episode.
Next episode. Ear biting for next class. Whoa. Man.
It's a good segue to get out of here.
All right. Later, guys.
I meant through the window.